Hey guys, Brent Hull Build Show. For the past few weeks, we've been doing these friezes and architraves and cross-headed corners. Well, today we're going to put it all together. We're going to build awesome door headers. We're going to build a cornice today on the Build Show. If you've watched the videos on the frieze and the cross-headed corners, we're talking about elevating spaces, right? We're talking about improving areas. Now, you don't do this everywhere. You do it in an entry hall, you do it over a front door. You don't do it in bedrooms, you don't do it for closets, right? You don't want to highlight and emphasize the janitor's closet, right? So what we're doing is we're going to build an entablature. Remember, we've got our entablature up here, right? We've got our architrave, our frieze, and our cornice, right? We're doing the same thing over doors. So here's your door casing, right? This is your, you got to case out a door anyway. There's a beautiful Kuchen molding there. Now we're going to do a frieze. Now the frieze, in this case, is just going to be a flat board, okay? So architrave, frieze, now all we need is the cornice. And so the cornice, I'm using very simple moldings. I'm using the same crown, okay? And I'll put it at the top over here. I've got my corona that goes next, and then my cimation that goes over top of that. And so all of a sudden, very simply and easily, I have a really elevated door header, and I've used, a flat board, and I've used a crown, and I've casing, right? We did this Kuchen thing. I'm going to show you how I put all this together, show you how I cut these things up. But this is a very simple way of elevating a door and improving your work. And the client says, I want something a little bit special, really easy, really simple. Let me show you how to do it. All right, so in order to build my cornice and header, I've already built my frieze, right? It's just that flat board going across. Now we're doing that cornice, okay? Now, so I really like this Kuchen crown because if you remember in classical architecture, we have supporting moldings and we have terminating moldings. Supporting moldings lift up, right? Their arms are going to go up and they're going to support this. Terminating moldings are this, ta-da, right? They're a finishing molding. So in our cornice, this bottom molding, it's called a bed mold, okay, is a supporting molding because this pushes up. Do you see that? Whereas this molding, it's a terminating molding because it is not strong, right? It terminates in that ta-da. This molding is great because what it allows me to do is I flip it one way and it's a terminating molding, right? So there's my terminating molding. And then I flip it the other way and it becomes a bed mold, it becomes a supporting molding. I also like the scale of this molding. This molding has a great scale. What I'm going to do right here is I'm going to do everything full scale, right? So I've got my frieze right here that's gone on top. I am going to do my bed mold like this. I am going to create this kind of detail here. And I want, because my face here is going to be an inch or so, maybe 3/4. I want this spread here to be about the same. So remember, we're starting to play with proportions. We're starting to play with all the sizes of everything. And if any of these three parts, right, we've got the bed mold, the corona, and the cima, they all should be roughly the same size. And so we are, again, playing with the proportions of stuff. So first I'm going to build this bed mold as it wraps around this frieze. So now what I've done is I'm upside down right now, and I've cut my pieces so that I've got the lower part of my bed mold, right? So I'm gonna just tack these together so that I can start building out my different parts and pieces. I've got the first part of my cornice, right? And then I'm gonna go start building that corona, right? So now I've got this lower piece. Now I've got to do this upper piece. What I'm going to do is actually going to rip this down and then use this back piece. I won't even use all of this, but I'm going to make my little cornice piece, little corona right here, and I'm just going to rip this down and then glue it together. This corona piece is going to go right like this over top, right? And it's creating my little shadow line, pretty shadow line here. Remember, we're looking up at it. And I'm going to build it off a little bit about this far. So I'm going to put this backer piece behind there. and build this off so that it's going to look something like this, right? So I've got just a flat piece here, which is going to create my soffit, and then this piece is going to go on top of it, right? And now I've got a nice little gap between here before this little cove molding comes up and goes this way. So nice little details, and then our crown goes right here at the top. We have built our corona now. So now we've got our bed mold and our corona, right? Now all we need to do is put a cap on top of that, right? This cap up here, and we built our header. This is that cornice, that 3 parts. I got a bed mold, coronas, this is this flat piece, and then the cyma is going to go on top. So now, instead of doing it where it's a supporting molding going up, I'm going to flip it over and it's going to be a terminating molding, right? So I'm going to, same molding, I'm just flipping it around, treating it different ways, and it gives us a completely different look. All right, guys, so we've got our cornice, right? We got our frieze, big wide bend. We got our cornice to show you how to make that up. And look what happens, guys. I can put it over this door, right? Remember, I made it a little bit short. Look how pretty that is, right? Or I can slide it over to my cross-setted corners, right? We're elevating doorways, remember? So now, and notice I'm a little bit in, right? I'm about 1 inch off there and 1 inch off there. That still looks really pretty, and that's a great way to elevate a door. I can just nail that up and show you what it looks like. But now, I've got a beautiful door, right? A real elevated opening. I know where I'm supposed to go. I'm supposed to walk through here, right? I know I'm supposed to do that because it tells me, right? The classical system tells you where to go. So this is an awesome way of elevating a doorway. Very simple, right? We got a simple door casing. You're doing that anyway. Flat board for our frieze. If you wanted to get fancy, you can do a pulvinated frieze and then a simple cornice. All right, you guys, so follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Hull Millwork, Hull Homes. Sign up for the newsletter. If you're watching on YouTube, to hit the subscribe button. Also, next time, I'm going to show you how to elevate this with carving and awesome detail next time on The Build Show.